Today on What the Fund? Vesthelm, the flashback open Sourcey CMS. Hi, I'm Alan Langford and this is episode 16 of What the Fund? A show where we take a humorous look at crowdfunding projects, most of them bad. Today it's CMS software from your mama's basement. It's a 2001 flashback. This project's on Kickstarter. It's called Vesthelm, the open source CMS. It's sponsored by an Anton Kubinov out of London, England. So this dude's of Russian heritage, but he's out of the United Kingdom. So the name Vesthelm gave me a little bit of a culture problem. I wasn't sure if it was Vesthelm or Vesthelm. But if you go to the fugly website for this product, you see that the typography is definitely Vest and then Helm. So there's nothing really new about weird product names, but this one's kind of intriguing. Is there a helm on a vest? Is the contraction of helmet and vest? Does that make it a defensive CMS? And what about the engine? Do you run the engine from the helm? Is the vest, does it surround the engine? I just don't know. Speaking of flashbacks, this thing has a sort of circular logo with a dot in the middle. It's kind of reminiscent of the movie 2001. The project never ever mentions if the CMS will sing Daisy or not. So Anton wants to raise £15,000. He's got until October the 17th to do that, and you guessed it, so far he's raised a big fat zero. So what is this thing? Well, the English isn't great, but it's, let me read this. Vesthelm Engine is unique in its capabilities site engine. It looks like there's a bulletin board built on top of that, but let's look at the unique capabilities here. There's the Vesthelm framework, which we can pretty much be sure that's unique. There's the Smarty template engine. Seriously, Smarty. But 2001 is calling again. Then there's the XJS library. Well, that's not particularly unique. It's multilingual. No. Ajax technologies. So no. Flexible add-on system? No, not so much. And a powerful application system? Also, really, no. We're striking out in unique here except for the framework. So Anton goes on in some detail to talk about the forum and stuff and to list a bunch of totally non-unique features. Now his risks and challenges section is a bit of a joke. He talks about how the biggest challenge was to develop a flexible add-on system and that he solved this with hooks. Hooks. That's it, hooks. Buddy, have you heard of WordPress or Joomla or Drupal or... there's a long list. Look it up. But before building your own CMS, don't you think it would make sense to do your own research? Like just a teensy, tiny little bit of research? Or, oh, I know what it is. Your next project is going to be a search engine and you're waiting to do that before you actually look anything up. So here's a general tip about the risks and challenges section. It's supposed to be something that addresses the things that might get in the way as you implement stuff in the future. It's not really supposed to be a place to document the dumb mistakes that you made that got you on Kickstarter begging for money in the first place. So the 2001 reference seems pretty appropriate because that's about how far you'd have to go back in order to make this a leading edge CMS. Now, Anton says he's been developing this for 4 years, but to me it sounds like it's more like 14 years and he's just come out of his mama's basement. Alright, so now we get to the really fun stuff, the stuff that pisses me off. The first indication here is the rewards. They're all copyright removal licenses. Copyright removal licenses. Now, by copyright removal license, he doesn't mean that you can remove his copyright licenses from the code. He means that you can use the license key to remove the copyright notification that he would otherwise put across the bottom of every single page output by his CMS. But if this was really an open source CMS, I could just edit the code myself. So that's a bit of a red flag on the open source claim. So there's a big difference between open source code, as in you're free to do things with the code, like redistribute it, and we just give you a copy of the code so you can make some local changes. The latter one, that you can make some local changes, that's called proprietary code. So, you take a look and see what we can find here. Anton, in his Kickstarter project's got a whole bunch of helpful links into his website. None of them have anything to do with the license. So you visit his fugly green on green website, and down in the footer there's a link for license, and you go and read the license, and sure enough you might get a copy of the code, but you really don't get a chance to do anything with it. This does not meet the Open Source Initiative's definition of open source. It's just not open source. So let's sum this project up. This guy builds a lame-ass CMS system. He can't sell it to anybody because it's old. It offers nothing really new. I mean, it's conceptually old. It offers nothing new, and, well, it's proprietary. When he's trying to sell his system, he hears the objection that there are open source systems that do that. So he makes use of the term open source that's either devious or ignorant, and frankly, I don't care which. Instead of taking a brief look around and realizing that he's screwed, that he's just wasted at least 4 years on nothing, he creates a Kickstarter project so he can continue his wanker fantasies. So 0 is exactly what this Kickstarter project deserves, and I'm not going to mention what I think Kubichov deserves, except maybe himself. Alright, so that's it for episode 16 of What the Fund. I hope you had as much fun watching it as I had making it. If you're not subscribed to the YouTube channel, there should be a button up here someplace. Click on that button and get notifications of future episodes. Trying to get them out at least once a week. I missed one last week, but life gets in the way sometimes. And, share this stuff with your friends if you thought it was fun. Always looking for new people to come in and take a look. Always looking for comments. So if you're on the YouTube page, head over there and make some comments down below the video. And I hope to see you again. Thanks.